retire after 24 years of honorable and faithful service to this nation. Please rise for the invocation. Let us pray. It is peace that you need, heaven's forgiveness, and peace and love in the soul. Money cannot buy it, intellect cannot procure it, wisdom cannot attain it. You can never hope by your own efforts to secure it, but God offers it to you as a gift, without money and without price. Amen. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, now taking his position in the reviewing area is the retiring officer, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Russell Richardson, Combating Weapons of Mass Destruction Coordinator for the Deputy Commandant of Plans, Policies, and Operations, Headquarters Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Attention to orders. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal, Gold Star in lieu of second award to Master Gunnery Sergeant Gary L. Beals, Jr., United States Marine Corps, for service as set forth in the following. For outstanding meritorious service while serving as the Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear Defense Operations Coordinator, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, from May 2021 to June 2023. Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals' exceptional performance of duties directly contributed to the success of 1st Marine Expeditionary Force Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear Defense Community. His professional prowess assisted him while he managed the assignment of over 225 enlisted personnel across the force, ensuring units reach staffing goals. As Commanding General Inspection Program team member, he worked with subordinate units to assess and enhance their readiness. Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals' operational planning efforts resulted in the successful execution of 9 joint and multinational training events, such as Freedom Banner 21, Balikatan 21 and 22, Valiant Shield 21, Native Fury 22, Marine Rotational Force Darwin 22.1 and 22.2, and Steel Knight 21 and 22. Through his extensive military occupational specialty knowledge, he identified interoperability issues between the M50 Joint Service General Purpose Mask and the combat helmet, thus correcting serious equipment issues throughout 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force. Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals' superior performance of his duties culminated his 24 years of honorable and dedicated military service. By his exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and loyal dedication to duty, Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the traditions of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. For the President, G.W. Smith, Jr., Lieutenant General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding General, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. United States Marine Corps, Master Gunnery Sergeant Gary L. Beals Jr. was transferred this day from the U.S. Marine Corps to the Fleet Marine Corps Reserve after 25 years of honorable and faithful active service. This first day of December 2023, signed David H. Berger, General, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Certificate of Appreciation for Distinguished Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America, Master Gunnery Sergeant Gary L. Beals Jr. I extend my personal gratitude and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation to you for your distinguished patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces helped protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long traditions of the finest military in the world, embodied the American idea of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible, unrepayable debt. Your commitment and the example you set will inspire future generations to serve with pride and continue to keep our country secure. You represent the very best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting you in your honorable service. I wish you happiness and success in your next chapter. J.R. Biden, Commander-in-Chief. Dear Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals, the Marine Corps has been your occupation and family for many years past, and I am certain the memories, interests, and future of the Corps will remain with you forever. Many desire to obtain your accomplished goals, but few can compare to you. You have clearly demonstrated the exceptional leadership qualities and professional contributions we seek of our senior Marines. We are proud, as you must be, of your successful career. As a teacher of young Marines, a source of wise counsel, and an example of those soldierly virtues we so admire, you have made a mark on the Corps that will remain long after you have left our active ranks. There are many young Marines you have influenced who will carry on in the same fine tradition that has always characterized the United States Marine Corps. You have my best wishes for good health and continued success in the years ahead. Semper Fidelis. David H. Berger, General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Dear Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals, on the occasion of your retirement, I would like to extend my congratulations and heartfelt thanks for your many years of dedicated service and selfless devotion to our country and our Corps. You have made tremendous contributions and sacrifices throughout your Marine Corps career, and the Corps is better today after having you in its ranks. As you prepare to enter this new chapter in your life, you can look back with immense pride and satisfaction on all that you have accomplished. You have set an example of professionalism and a standard of excellence for all Marines who will carry on the legacy of our Corps. My wife Stacy joins me in wishing you, Jesse, Christian, and Samantha continued success in the future. Semper Fidelis. Troy E. Black, 19th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Now joining Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals is his wife Jessie, son Christian, and daughter Samantha. United States Marine Corps, Certificate of Appreciation, Commanding Officer, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force Support Battalion, takes pleasure in commending Miss Jessie M. Beals for sustained, unselfish, faithful, and devoted support during your husband's distinguished Marine Corps career. Throughout the years, your unwavering concern for your husband's welfare and the welfare of your family ensured that the Beals home remained intact on those countless occasions when the duties of his service required that he be away. Your Marine Corps family acknowledges the many sacrifices that you have made under demanding conditions in order to maintain the integrity of your family. This unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your husband's lasting contributions to both our nation and a grateful Marine Corps. On behalf of all Marines, I say thank you and Semper Fidelis. Given this 30th day of June 2023, signed John Shim, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding Officer. United States Marine Corps Certificate of Appreciation, Commanding Officer, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force Support Battalion, takes pleasure in commending Mr. Christian L. Beals, and Miss Samantha L. Beals, for sustained, unselfish, faithful, and devoted support during your father's distinguished Marine Corps career. Throughout the years, your unwavering concern for your father's welfare and the welfare of your family ensured that the Beals home remained intact on those countless occasions when the duties of his service required that he be away. Your Marine Corps family acknowledges the many sacrifices that you have made under demanding conditions in order to maintain the integrity of your family. This unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your father's lasting contributions to both our nation and a grateful Marine Corps. On behalf of all Marines, I say thank you and Semper Fidelis. Given this 30th day of June 2023, John Shim, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding Officer.
Just kidding. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, for family members, where did we left? Straight ahead. Gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen, the retiring officer, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Russell Richardson.
All right, hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Russell Richardson, CW05 up at PPNO, but that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. We're here for one very special person and his family. All right. Now, with that being said, I was told by two people to make this quick and fast. All right. I was told by Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals himself, who I'm not scared of at all. Now, Jess was the second person to tell me, so I'm gonna make this fast. All right. Now, with that being said, I did write some notes, so please bear with me because it is hard to encompass 24 years of such a storied career, you know, in my head. I'm not that smart. Remember, I'm up at PPNO. I'm not that smart. And for those of you who don't know what PPNO is, it doesn't even matter. Trust me. So with that being said, I'm gonna pull these things out. Again, welcome, family, friends. And you see he's got a lot of family and friends here, so thank you so much for making that trip out here. I know this means the world to him and his family, just like he means the world to each and every one of you. Marines and sailors, see you guys over there, see you guys in here. Thank you for being here. Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals during this time. He's getting ready to retire. And this is an amazing milestone in a Marine's life. I have no idea what that's like. Hopefully I'll get there soon, but he's experiencing it, and I want to learn from him. And this is just amazing, and I couldn't be more proud of you, my friend. Introduce myself. I want to talk a little bit about why, I don't know why he picked me as his retiring officer. I think the 4 or 5 calls he made before, they screened his call, so, you know, I ended up here. But I'd like to think that the relationship that we've had over the 2 years, now keep in mind, I've never worked with him before. I've heard his name whispered in hushed tones. You know, I've seen his face on pictures with crosses and units. I've never worked with him, had no opinion of him, came to work with me. And I'm telling you what, I was blessed to work with such an amazing Marine. I was lucky because he did a lot of the things that I didn't want to do. Yes, Guam or Philippines. And I couldn't have been a luckier seafaring officer to have this guy come work for me. I'm gonna just briefly tell you about a little inside joke we have, all right? He calls me an emotional vampire, and I call him an emotional vampire. What's the signal you give? It's a snake bite where we're sucking each other's emotional issues. All right. Working at the Met can get pretty stressful, and there were times where he would get stressed, and I come over and I snake bite him, and that was our way of telling each other to calm down. He'd do the same thing for me. We worked great together. It was like yin and yang. It really was. When he gets spun up, I'd bring him down. When I got spun up, he'd bring me down. I've had a lot of work relationships with a lot of you ladies and gentlemen out here today, but none have I worked closer with than this gentleman, and I couldn't have been more proud of the things he's accomplished and how he's brought me along on his journey. But again, we're here to celebrate a true Marine. I was going to go through the whole gambit: truthful hunting, devil dog, leatherneck, jarhead. We are here to celebrate this Marine. We're here to celebrate Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals. We're here to celebrate soon-to-be Gary Beals. All right. All right. Historically, we usually talk about all the units that he's been to. He's been through to a lot of units. I'm not going to go through them. So what I would like to do right now, I told him I wanted to make this interactive. He looked at me and gave me the side eye. I wasn't sure what that meant, so I'm just going to go with it. So everyone, you have a program in there. You notice it doesn't list units. It lists his billets, and it lists the operations and exercises that he was a part of. There's a reason why it doesn't list the billets. I mean, the units that he went to, because the units doesn't matter. What he truly cherished was where he went and how he could influence the mission in the Marines at those billets, not in the unit, in those billets. Because as CBRN guys, we know we have a lot of different billets, a lot of different ones. So I'm not going to read through all those positions. You see specialist in there, you see supervisor in there, you see staff and COIC in there, lots of different billets. What's most important about all those billets is how he was able to influence the Marines in each and every one of those billets. And that's what he truly loves the most, is being out there with the Marines, making them smarter, making them stronger, and making them better Marines. So that's what I wanted to highlight about this gentleman right here. Through all those billets that you see that he had, he influenced, he interacted with some Marine at some level to make them smarter and better. Just like he did with me here at the MEF as a 5, he did that all the way down to the lowest level. And I'm sure those Marines over there can attest to that, just like I'm sure these Marines here and family members and friends can attest to it. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. There's no units, there's only billets because of what he believes in and how strongly he believes in. He also participated in a lot of operations. I'm not going to go through all those. We've all participated in those operations. What he loved the most about those operations is how he could accomplish that mission and get those Marines home safely. Accomplish the mission and getting them back. That's all he ever cared about. So thank you for caring about those two things, Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals. So now I will say this. There's one thing that I'm going to point out that I think is most influential that Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals did. He was a fellow at NDU for the CWMD, the Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction program. When he entered that program, he opened the door for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Marines to come to participate in that program, to better themselves and to better the Marine Corps. So he wanted to leave a legacy, and that is a very, very powerful legacy, because not only was it for enlisted Marines, because that was a program, correct me if I'm wrong, only for officers at one point. But now, because he went in there with his professionalism and his intelligence, and he accomplished this program, he opened it up not only to enlisted who strive to be better, he opened it up to all the forces enlisted, not just the Marine Corps. So on behalf of all those ladies and gentlemen, thank you for leaving your mark on that fellowship and on the Marine Corps. So in conclusion, I think it's safe to say that this gentleman right here has definitely left a firm, cemented legacy here in our hallowed halls of the Marine Corps. And again, I want to thank you for that. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to be a retiring officer. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time I present to you Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals.
Yep. So, a wise first, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who is in attendance. Thank you to all the gentlemen and all the ladies that took time out of their day to come and spend this afternoon with me. Thank you to the young Marines, everybody that helped set up, and everybody that helped. Without you, this day wouldn't have happened, honestly. And I want to give a special thanks to the first sergeant that helped me out, that stepped in at the last minute in the last 2 days and really took the reins. So, brother, I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. Nobody ever tells you what today feels like inside. Everybody talks about, yeah, it was great, I did my retirement, it was awesome, and I retired from the Marine Corps. But those of you that have been here before, they don't tell you. You guys neglected to mention what it actually feels like, and it's a hollowing out. I guess is the right way to put it. There's a hole, right? There's 25 years of my life that I spent doing a thing that I loved and gave everything to, and now that thing is in the past. I mean, so that's a thing. So if you're still in and you come to your retirement, I'm gonna tell you, nobody tells you what it feels like the morning of and the day of, but that's some real stuff at that moment. Okay, so we're gonna get through this. I want to say a special thank you to all of the men and women that mentored me throughout my career. They're far too numerous to name, but I'm gonna go real quick and try to do it. To my first non-commissioned officer that I ever worked for, Master Gunnery Sergeant retired Mark Bartosic, literally raised me in the Marine Corps. To Keith Harrington, who is here, to John Ostrowski, who I worked for in Missouri. Thank you. Thank you all for protecting me, and nurturing me, protecting me more than anything. Y'all don't. So all of you, if you know me at all, you know that there's a strong possibility that if you're sitting here on this stage, you probably either got me out of jail, or stopped me from being NJP'd at least once, or saved my career at least once. Like almost all of you, if you're here, you probably had a hand in that. So I in no way, shape, or form believe that I got here by myself. I am nothing but a product of your poor decisions. if I'm being 100% honest. I also want to say thank you to another person that's here, Kevin. Y'all don't know this, but Kevin Quigley, PFC Kevin Quigley and Lance Corporal Gary Beals worked together in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina back in '99. And it was a hot minute, and I'll never forget. Young guys, maybe can you hear me? Right, so when I got to the fleet, I was my first unit, and I was doing my laundry, and I was pissed because I kept going in there and all my fucking socks were gone. Excuse my language. And that's like, how does the dryer eat socks, man? Where are all my shirts, all my green shirts, and all my socks? So this young PFC who was carrying a rack of, I think it was Milwaukee's Best through the quad, he comes up and he goes, "Hey, somebody steal your shirts?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you're supposed to drink beer and watch your laundry because they're going to steal everything in there that they want." And I said, "What?" So sure enough, from that moment on, Kevin and I would sit there and drink beer and do laundry. And that was kind of like walking to the fleet. We did a lot of other horrific things throughout the years. But that's the story that I recall more than any of them. I also want to thank another person here who we all joined the Marine Corps. We all take different paths to the Marine Corps, right? My path was a little darker at the beginning when I was in college, and I was in a pretty bad spot. You've known me, you knew that I went to college before the Marine Corps, and I didn't leave, I was thrown out. A lot of people are like, "I went to college and I left." No, they threw me out of college. And I won't lie, I was in a really dark place after that. But there's a gentleman here who picked me up and bought me lunch, and he was a Marine, and he was also a fraternity brother of mine and a buddy from college. And Robert, I have absolutely no way to ever repay you for what you did for me that day. There aren't words. Long story short, he got me into the recruiter. I can tell you that story is hilarious too, because the recruiter took one look at me and he laughed. And he's like, "That kid can't be a Marine." It's absolutely hilarious. You wouldn't even recognize me though. I had like a platinum, I had a bald head, I had really big floppy pants, I think they were Jinkos at the time. I had like body piercings all on my face. I weighed about 117, 120 pounds.
I have pictures.
It was rough, man. It was a rough day. And the guy's like, "Get this kid out of my office, Robert." And yeah, I was like, "You can't tell me what I can't do." Right? 25 years later, I'm standing here retiring. Screw that guy too. I showed him. Right? So with that being said, the last thing that I'll say about the career, and thank you to everybody again. I'm gonna you gotta tell your story, right? So many times we get caught up as Marines in what we should have done, or what we could have done, or what somebody else did, or what deployment somebody else went on, or where somebody else. It's not about any of that shit. Like, as Marines, don't forget to know your story, tell your story, and be proud of it, regardless of what that story is. Even if you messed up, even if you're NJP'd 5 times, it doesn't matter. You're still a Marine. You still did the thing. You still raised your hand. So own that. Okay? Lastly, to my family, to my mom, thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with me and not throwing me in the dumpster when I was a little baby. I was a wreck then too. Jonathan, thank you for being there for me my whole life, even though I couldn't be there for you. Because I left college. I went to college when I was 17, so my brother was 13 at the time. So I've been away from him pretty much since then. To my kids, thank you for always being there for me. I'll never be able to appreciate that enough. And last, and certainly not least, my dog. Y'all thought I was going to say Jesse, didn't you? So, Jesse, thank you. I love you, and I know I promised you that we would only do this for a couple of years when we met. That was a lie. Then I told you we would get out in a couple of years after we got back from Missouri, and that was a lie too. And then I told you we'd get out when I picked up Mass Sergeant, and that was a lie. I told you I'd never deploy again. That was a lie. I told you I'd never leave the country again when we got to California. Thank you, sir. That was a lie. But I'm done. I promise. This time I promise. I really mean it. So that's enough. I've piddled on long enough. Thank you all for helping me get to this point in my career and in my life. I will cherish every moment that I have with each one of you. And the family and I are moving to New Orleans once we leave here. Get a job. If anybody cares, I'll be teaching school at Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah, so come on down. Send your kids. I promise you they won't join the Marine Corps. That's probably a lie too. All right, thank you all for coming. Please drive safe, go home, and we will be at Park 101 today as soon as the ceremony's over, starting from noon till like 2:30, and there'll be food and booze. Please come out and join us. It's in Carlsbad. Thank you.
Gifts are now being delivered to Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals' family as a token of appreciation for the love and support they have provided him through his Marine Corps career. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Auld Lang Syne, Anchors Away, and the singing of the first verse of the Marines hymn.
heroes of Tripoli. We'll fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please be seated for the passing of Old Glory.
Detail! Halt!
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings, and I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning, while standing guard with the greatest militaries of the world. Look up, see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved, and I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. At Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, the beaches of Normandy, Okinawa, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and in the mountains of Afghanistan, along with a score of places long forgotten by all but those who were there with me. I was there. I led my Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired. But my Marines cheered me, and I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on in the streets of countries that I have helped set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on in the streets of my own country. And when it is by those whom I have sworn to protect, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am resilient. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hours come when I am torn into strips, to be used as bandages on the field of battle, when I fly at half-mast to honor my citizens, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother, at the graveside of her fallen son and daughter. I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave. United States of America. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Camp Del Mar, Camp Pendleton, on 25 May 2023, and has been awarded to Master Gunnery Sergeant Gary L. Beals, Jr. The flag which you have so proudly served and honorably defended, the flag which we serve under, is the true emblem of our unity, our thoughts, and our power and purpose as a nation. Accept it, protect it, safeguard it. And as always, remember that the young men and women you have trained, guided, and inspired will follow in your footsteps and defend it with equal pride. On this occasion, we consider we have lost a true leader while society gains a superb citizen. Your fellow service members join me in wishing you good luck and Godspeed. Signed, J. Shim, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding Officer.
For 25 years, this Marine has stood the watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this Marine stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this Marine stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this Marine stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seeing, brewing in the horizon of history, this Marine stood the watch. Many times he could have cast an eye ashore, see his family standing there, needing his guidance and his help, needing that hand to hold during those hard times, but still, he stood the watch. He stood the watch for 25 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and our fellow countrymen could sleep soundly and safely each and every night, knowing that a Marine stood the watch. Today we are here to say, Marine, your watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Master Gunnery Sergeant Beals, you stand relieved. We have the watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Marines and sailors of 1st Marine Expeditionary Force Support Battalion, thank you for your attendance.